Hello and welcome, I'm Tafara Gadamu. My guest today, Wolfgang Neumann, sits at the top of the Residor Hotel Group, one of the 10 top most hotel companies in the world. They have started with Radisson Blu and they want to press ahead with more brand hotels here in Addis Ababa. More on that and other issues here on MeetEbc. Wolfgang Neumann, a very warm welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You claim to be one of the top 10 brands in the world. Can you explain, because you're basically into the market?
We don't claim to be one of the top 10 hotel companies in the world. We actually are. That's together with our strategic partner, Carlson. So Carlson, Residor, together. We have 1,300 hotels, and that makes us one of the top 10 hotel companies in the world. And in that portfolio sit various brands, primarily our Radisson brand, with Radisson Blu, the leading brand.
And the plazas
and the plazas and the Park-In by Radisson brand. So it's the portfolio of brands which together are incorporated in this overall number.
Tell me about these ingredients that make you one of the top 10.
The top 10 is a pure number play, which is interesting and important in today's hotel industry because it's, as in many other industries.
Well, you need that. You need
scale.
Yes,
you need the international presence. And in today's world where distribution and branding is important, it's important to be a global player. So we are present in all continents, and that is important. But within that, you have the brands itself, which from a consumer perspective, from a customer perspective, is actually more relevant.
They have been around for a while.
Absolutely. And you don't come to Carlson Residor as a customer. You come to the Radisson Blu or you come to the Park-In. So for the guest, for the consumer, it's more relevant to talk about brands. And from that perspective, Radisson Blu, our leading brand, is important to note that this is actually the biggest upper upscale brand in Europe. And we want to make it the biggest brand in Africa.
Yeah, because we're talking about Sheraton, we've got Hilton, we've got the Marriott, and so on and so forth. What does that makes you sexy in terms of the brands that you have achieved so far?
A brand is a promise.
Yeah,
a brand is a promise to a customer, and with that you communicate certain aspirations. And Radisson Blu is a very dynamic brand. It's very design focused, very contemporary. We are a young brand. We are a young player in the hotel industry. We're not as established as some of the other big players, but we have grown very fast, and we've grown very fast by being very dynamic and very entrepreneurial. And with that, we have, in a very relative short period of time, achieved good scale, good success, good brand recognition from a customer perspective, and that allows us now to grow further.
So tell me about your global presence. We'll come back to Africa and Ethiopia later on in the program, but tell me about your global presence.
The global presence is in the context of Carlson Residor. There are 1,300 hotels amongst the various brands. Within Europe and Africa, which is Residor's responsibility, we have 430 hotels. And the bulk of the hotels sit in Americas, and then we have some 100 hotels plus in Asia Pacific.
So what are the elements that you consider when you intend to expand and have more of those brands around the world? What do you look into when you expand your investment?
Expansion is about a couple of things. First of all, you need to expand in the right territories. You want to capture market opportunities. From a hotel perspective, it's important to look at how much branded supply is already present in that country which you want to go in. So
that's a serious market analysis, of course.
Absolutely.
But what are the factors that you look into?
Well, you need to look into the dynamics in terms of what are the market dynamics, what is the economic growth that you have there, so what are the various parameters which allow you to be successful. We are a management company, which means we operate in partnership with local investors. Yes, we invest a little bit also in certain selected markets, but essentially we are a management company. And so we bring expertise and our brands to the market and form partnerships with local investors who give us their real estate, their hotels, and we run it for them. So it's very important to have a win-win partnership in it, to understand what is important for the local partner and how can we create a winning relationship which ultimately then generates the return of the investment that that local investor wants to achieve.
But I would also want to understand and the traffic, do you look for prospective markets where you want to have your presence, or local partners suggest to you that the possibilities of investing in any given country, or both? I don't know.
Combination of the two. You are proactive in saying, where are we today present? Where do we still want to go in order to complete our portfolio? Equally, investors and consultants come to us and say, look, I have a deal here of a hotel. Would you be interested? So it's a two-way process, but obviously it's critical to have a strategy and to know where you still want to be present and establish either in key hubs and key cities, in capital cities, the presence, or equally to select countries where you want to build up scale to also capture the domestic demand. And that brings you then automatically potentially more into the mid-market. So you want to be present in key cities, and equally you want to see where can you build up scale in a country to penetrate the market further.
What constitutes a key city?
A key city is a capital city. A key city is a city where there is...
but every country has a capital city anyway. But
so we should be in every capital city, and we are very close to that.
Right.
Very important to be in capital cities. Very important to be in financial hubs. Very important to be in airports. And by the way, airlift is a critical part of that. You need to make sure that you have, in the cities where you are, the airlift into that city, into that country.
You need that hub, yeah.
You need that hub, you need that connectivity. Equally, then you also have domestic locations where domestic demand is very important. So you do a supply and demand analysis, and then you see how you can establish a successful hotel.
But I'm guessing that you do not positively react to every request that comes from any given partner or possible partner or potential.
Impossible.
Impossible. What are the rejection?
I'd say 1 in 10.
1 in 10.
1 in 10.
That's
which you really carry forward. We talked before that the brand is a promise, so you need to make sure that in this location you are able to fulfill that promise with that partner that you have. The financing needs to be in place. The infrastructure needs to be in place. And we are a relationship company. So we very much look in forming these partnerships with the right people where we can really make a difference for them.
So who are these right people?
Local investors.
Who are this? I mean,
we obviously have our values. So let's start with the most fundamental things. Residor has been recognized for 5 years in a row as one of the most ethical companies in the world. We are very proud of that. We are a public limited company, so it's very important for us that the basics are right, that you do business with people who have the same values as you. And I'm talking about values across the spectrum of values, because that's the foundation of a partnership. And then equally, it's important to have the right business deal for you, to have the financing in place. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a rich person, but the individual or the corporation or the fund, the investment fund, just needs to have access to the financing, which allows you. In today's world, it's very important that you also put in enough equity into a deal so that it's not all leveraged, because we want to make sure that the hotels that we build together with our partners are on solid footings.
When did you start your operations in Africa? When did you open your first one?
In 2000. Hence I said before that we're a relative latecomer, and when you look at this relative short period of time, we've had incredible traction, incredible success.
And where?
Across Africa. We started in South Africa, where today we have 6 hotels in operation and another 3 in development. So 9 hotels in South Africa is great. It's one of the focus countries. And we grew out of South Africa into the continent. And we're really able to exploit the opportunities which are there in this great continent. And why? Because we established very early on an office, a local office, with people who understand Africa, who are based here, who have the connections, but most importantly, really know what it takes to be successful in Africa. Because Africa is quite different to Europe. You need to have a different mentality.
And that mentality is?
First of all, understand that Africa is not Africa. Africa is made out of 54 countries, and that every country has different dynamics. I always have a problem when people rubber stamp Africa as a continent and think that everything is the same, because it isn't. Ethiopia is very different than South Africa, and South Africa is very different than Algiers. So you need to understand the local dynamics. You need to work with local partners. You need to be patient, because in Africa, certain things take a bit longer than in mature markets. But at the same time, you need to also move fast, because the opportunity is here now. I compare Africa to Asia 30 years ago. It's amazing, the opportunity now. And if you want to capture that opportunity and grow, you need to, at the same time, move fast. So it's this balancing play between being patient, because certain elements, as far as infrastructure, for example, is concerned, are just not there yet. Or building a hotel takes you longer because you need to import a lot. But at the same time, we are also successful because we move fast. We are close to our partners, we understand our partners, and are ready to strike deals.
Radisson Blu, one of your brands, a presence here, what, 10 years?
Radisson Blu in Africa since 2000.
No, in Addis Ababa.
In Addis Ababa, 5 years.
5 years. And I'm trying to understand you're talking about the local dynamic. How was the local dynamics like here?
Very important to be part of the local community. Very important to understand what makes this hotel successful in the local
But what I'm saying is, was it easy for you to launch your Radisson here, to open your Radisson Blu here? How patient were you?
I would be lying.
Patient were you?
It was easy, because it isn't easy to open hotels in Africa, but it's so rewarding. Yeah, I met yesterday with a whole team in our Radisson Blu in Addis Ababa, and I thanked them, and because they've done such a fantastic job over these 5 years. And what I see is incredible, smiley, proud, hospitable people, which is what the Ethiopians are all about. And that's what makes me love this country so much, because there's an atmosphere in this country which grabs me when I come here. And
is that the PR in you speaking, or
no? This is genuinely. This is not PR. This is, and I have a track record in the industry of talking straight from my heart and saying, what I mean.
And I want you to talk straight. How easy for you to launch your brand Radisson Blu in Addis Ababa?
It wasn't as complex as other openings, because we have a good local partner. But construction, for example, we had a few challenges.
Exactly, it's been there under construction for so many years. Yeah. You know, it's one of the.
Yeah, and that's what I meant with. That's what I meant with. It takes time, and you need to be patient. And then, you know, what you also need to do is you need to. We have a certain knowledge and experience, so we come in as a brand with our international knowledge and help the local team to develop and build a hotel. But at the same time, you don't want to come into a local market and be, you know, the Mr. Arrogant international brand and say, look, let me tell you what you have to do here. Because we want to learn from our local partners. We want to understand how we can better adapt to a market where we go in new. We don't pretend to know it all. And I think it's in this partnership spirit that you achieve the best success.
I understand this is a successful business here in town, right?
Very successful.
The Radisson Blu. So have you learned a lot from the Ethiopian side? What is it that you've learned? Because you've just mentioned that.
No, I think you adapt. You adapt. For example, you need to understand the employment conditions. You need to be clear how you attract local people who really can make a difference. And let me talk to this, because I'm passionate about this. I'm also a believer that we shouldn't go in as a brand and come in with these international managers and manage the locals. I think it's very important that we take our responsibilities as an international company to come in and bring expertise, learning and development, and develop local nationals. So we have started with, I think we had 8 or 9 expatriates in the management position. In the beginning, we are now down to 4 or 5. Why? Because we were able to groom local nationals into management positions. And, you know, I'm passionate about this. I spoke with one individual yesterday at the hotel who is in an assistant management position to see how he's doing on this fast track program, because we want to have local nationals as general managers of these hotels. And we are not good enough yet there. And I'm frustrated by that, because I want to see.
So when do you expect to have an Ethiopian general manager for you, Radisson, here?
That's the absolute must, and that's the absolute ambition.
So do you intend to expand your business in Ethiopia? That's about it? Radisson, that's fine.
We see Ethiopia as one of the countries which has Eastern Africa enormous development opportunity and potential. I mean, look at the track record of this country. Almost 10% GDP growth since 2008. 90 million people, an incredible rich history and heritage. African Union headquarter, Ethiopian Airlines, very successful airline which has now established itself as the second most successful airline on the African continent, just ordered the other, what was it, 20 planes I think they ordered. So there is a potpourri of components which make Ethiopia a very dynamic, very exciting country, with Addis as such an amazing capital city and hub. So we have one brand here at the moment, one hotel, Radisson Blu. We have Park Inn by Radisson as a mid-market proposition. We launched a new brand called Radisson Red recently, which we are keen to establish in Addis Ababa also.
Keen, or you are in the pipeline?
Keen, not in the pipeline. Pipeline is when we have actually a contract.
When is that coming to the picture?
We're working on it feverishly, and we want to. And equally, there's also a potential still for a luxury hotel. We have Kobus Collection, our luxury brand. So I see by 2025 hotels in Ethiopia without a problem.
Interesting. Let's get to the Africa Hotels Investment Forum. You were one of the speakers.
That's
what did
right.
you deliver? What did you deliver of this rosy picture?
I was one of the speakers this morning. I was there yesterday. The Prime Minister actually opened the conference. We were very grateful for his presence because that showed enormous commitment from his side. The Tourism Minister was there yesterday and today. So just as a side comment, I think it's wonderful to see the political presence because that shows commitment from the highest level. And I think what they have heard and what the objective of this conference is to really highlight Africa, I would think sub-Saharan Africa in particular, as an enormous opportunity. Africa, to me, has it all in terms of natural resources, but at the same time needs it all in terms of infrastructure development, in terms of healthcare, in terms of education. Africa has also an incredible need for international branded hotel supply. So it brings together hotel operators and brands like me with investors and the investment community to see how can we together exploit the opportunities which we are given in this exciting continent and this exciting mix of different countries, and to see how we can grow and explore business opportunities. And as I said before, the opportunities are here now and we need to grab them.
Well, the opportunities are there and you need to grab them, but there are also challenges. Did you look into that?
Africa has many challenges,
Right.
and by the way, that is not only a makeup of Africa. All emerging markets have its challenges. Residor operates some 25 hotels in Russia, and let me tell you, Russia has also its challenges as an emerging market. Africa in itself, and we talked to that a little bit already in terms of infrastructure development, the need to educate the workforce, where we, I think, have a very important role to play.
You're investing in that?
Heavily, because our business is people business. And when you come to our hotel, you want to experience a certain service. You want to, what we call the memorable experiences, where you go out and say, wow, this was a great hotel. Now, that I achieve on one hand through a beautiful building, in the right location. That's why you come to our hotel. But primarily and fundamentally because of the service. And that's where, going back to Ethiopia, I'm so excited about the Ethiopian service mentality. The smiles, the willingness. And by the way, it's a culture in our company which we have in the forefront because it's our mission, which is called Yes, I Can. By the way, we have this all on our jackets. Yes, I Can is a philosophy. It's a mentality saying, yes, I can. I can do that. I can do that for you, both back of house and front of house.
So the market is not saturated, you think, in Ethiopia, even when you see your competitors signing deals, trying to open up their hotels in Addis Ababa, right?
I'm glad that they do. Why am I glad that the competitors open hotels? Because A, we are not at the level of saturation, like you say. But equally, if there's another international hotel operator coming, this further promotes Ethiopia as a country. This further promotes Addis Ababa as a great city. And jointly, we in the hotel industry as hotel operators have a responsibility to promote destinations. The moment we open a hotel, This hotel is promoted through our global distribution, sales and marketing platform. So that helps to promote the country. And in the case of Ethiopia, if I may add that, it finally gets the message out that this country has moved away a long time ago from the image that it used to have. And I think we need to become much more proactive to promote Ethiopia of what it is and not what it used to be in the image of people. I mean, Ethiopia today is a net grain exporter. I wonder how many people actually know that.
Well, thank you very much, Wolfgang Neumann. It was a pleasure having you on my show.
Very good to meet you. Thank you very much.